Well, you've probably been following the adventures of Beth on her bike, which she falls off as many times as she gets on, and and was really quite a worry to me because uh, only foreigners will really understand this. Foreigners who have been to the Philippines, right? And hopefully foreigners who are married to a Filipina. In all of the charms that they have, undoubted charms that they have, which is why us guys come here, and of course it has to be admitted that the age difference makes no difference here, and as long as you are, I guess, prepared to be kind and treat people decently, then it's possible to have a second chance. But that's not really what I'm wanting to talk about. The culture here is especially the culture on an island, which is Bohol is a province. It's what they call Filipinos would just refer to it as the province, and in the province things are a lot different, right? They're both good and bad. You can't get everything that you want in the province. Sometimes you're stuck with having to make do with something else. Sometimes it's improved a heck of a lot lately in the last couple of years. Strangely, despite all of the nonsense with quarantines and lockdowns and all of that, it has improved enormously, and you can get almost every tool that you would want. I think of that because I'm a carpenter. So all of this is now available, but you will still have difficulty, especially as with Beth, who has now fallen off, and even though she minimized it when she came home that night, it was revealed by my friend Martin, another expat, who happened to be in the emergency room and saw Beth and texted me and said, "Is she okay?" And that was the first I knew about it, because she knew that I would be mad with her because, of course, she wasn't wearing any protective gear. Well, of course, as a foreigner, with all of the conditioning and programming and education and training that is available and enforced in countries like the US and certainly the UK, we know that we are sensible if we wear the appropriate clothing. Well, it's difficult here because it's hot. For instance, it's a temptation for me not to put on my protective leather jacket if I go riding on my bike if it's 40 degrees outside, and sometimes a lot more. If that's in the middle of the day, around noon, it can be very, very hot. So even if you're riding a bike and you're cool enough while you're riding, but then when you get there, what on earth do you do with a jacket? You can leave, strangely, you can leave the most expensive crash helmet on the bike, and I never hear of anyone having a crash helmet stolen. So, and that would not be the case if it was the UK, and probably not in the US. So it's different, and it's different the way that people dress when they are on a bike. Now, I try to tell the girls, like right now, we've got the two girls, Taliklik and Bibi, and they're sleeping over because it was too late to go. By the time they wanted, it was too late to go and do that ride on that mud road up to the house of Nana, what used to be our house. So they're sleeping over. Are they dressed? No, they're not dressed. Probably in dressed for the ride, that is, okay? They're riding the bike, they're not dressed any more than Beth is dressed now. When Beth received her injuries, and she did receive some very painful injuries. She's got injuries to her knuckles. I ride protective gloves with reinforced fingers and knuckles. On here it's reinforced, only with plastic, but it will stop the injury that Beth received. She wasn't wearing a helmet, and she wasn't wearing shoes, but this is not her being unusual. This is exactly the way that everybody dresses. You will see girls pass all the time on these scooters like the one that Beth has, and there'll be 4 of them or even 5 on the scooter, and they will all be in shorts, slippers, that's the open-toed things that go between the big toe and the second toe, and t-shirts and no helmets. It's very frustrating for me. Here I'm going out, and compared to them, I look like an overdressed wimp. I've got jeans, I've got socks, shoes, I've got gloves, I've got, when I behave myself and knuckle under, I've got a protective leather jacket, which is long sleeves, and which would take a certain amount of injury for me, okay? And I have the best helmet that I could buy, and it's a full face helmet. Now, I've spoken, even my friend Tony from the El Camino Cafe, he says he wouldn't wear a full face helmet because he finds it claustrophobic. Now, other people that I see, they wear a very cheap, hardly functional plastic helmet, and it comes in one size and probably too big, and what people do is they wear it over a baseball cap, and that's regarded as being okay, and probably don't tie it underneath either, so it would be gone if there was a spill. Now, this wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't so risky to ride a bike here in the Philippines. But in the Philippines, you have things happening on the road between, say, here in Itafi or here and Talibon. Now, that is the national highway. But it's only lately, in the last year to 18 months, that they've started to widen that stretch by 6 feet on either side, and they're putting like a hard standing on either side of that road. The actual road itself is quite narrow, and you get 10-wheelers and a lot of fast traffic trying to juggle its way with a lot of slow traffic. So you've got people in new trucks like ours, the Raptor, the Ranger, Toyota, all the full range of trucks, and they are capable of easily cruising down that road at 80 kilometers. But the tricycle drivers, especially if they're plying for a fare, will be going at 20 kilometers. So you speed up to as much as you can, 60 or 70, and then you'll get behind a tricycle or a motorcycle, especially a motorcycle that's driven by someone who has little training, and as soon as they see and know that you are behind them, they get a little nervous if they're new riders, and they'll pull almost to the side and slow down 15. So it's incredibly risky. There's cows on the road, cats, dogs, an occasional pig that's running around, and people, when they start to hang out at night, I've mentioned this before, will sit with their butt on the white line on the edge of the road, on a road that I've just described as being too narrow already. So what's the lesson learned for Beth? She assures me every time that the pain comes back as well. She's laid up and is actually using the crutch to get around. And she says, I'm never going to ride a bike again. But then when she wanted to go to the massage therapist, who lives a few miles away and then up a narrow path into the mountains, what does she go on? She goes on a motorcycle that is driven by Bibi or Taliklik and accompanied with Lovely. So 3 of them. Of course they're all suited up, aren't they? All 3 of them. Yeah, I don't think so. So I wonder what it really means if she says that she's not going to ride again. I think it probably means that she's only going to ride passenger. But as she always tells me, especially if she doesn't have a helmet on, I'm going to be very careful. Well, we all know that works, don't we? Bye for now.